Go. Welcome to Daily Dose. My name is Robert. I'm here with my pal Kim from Redding, California. And again, the name of your Parkinson's group, I'm sorry, is it the Redding Parkinson's
Support group. Yes, you're right. It
group?
is.
See, somehow.
Yeah, the memory's still there. You can't blame it on Parkinson's. Neither one of us has it. So
It's,
there's that.
yeah, there's no proximity Parkinson's, thankfully.
Yeah.
One thing I like to do is this idea that you and I can keep checking in because we know each other, but by once a month or whatever we do, we can say what's going on in the community type thing. And you were mentioning before we started, I forgot it was something in your community that you felt strongly about that we were talking last time about. Refresh me.
Yeah. Well, as we were ending our last one, I talked about my group because it's a rather unique group. Um,
Yeah.
they the care partners got together at one point because we have a care partner support group, and they said, we just want to do normal things. So what we do once a month is we go out to dinner. It's a bit of an issue finding a venue that big and all the criteria and things. But this last Tuesday, we had 29 people go out to dinner. And not one of them that I heard in the conversation was talking about Parkinson's. They were just being normal people. So I think I heard something, and you probably heard it also, that I have Parkinson's, but Parkinson's doesn't have me.
Right. Right.
And what is your thought on that? Because you see it from a different perspective than I do.
I love the idea. And here's the thing. I think it's one thing that bogs down some support groups and attendance in support groups is they become so, even though it is a Parkinson's support group, it doesn't mean it needs to be all about Parkinson's. We're human beings first, right? And sometimes because Parkinson's is so omnipresent and there are so many things to do, especially in the management of it, we can fool ourselves into thinking we are, even if we don't have it. The constant taking care of someone with Parkinson's can put us into that position thinking that's who we are. So I love the idea of saying, who else am I, by the way? And that reminder can just, I think, spur all sorts of humanity and community.
It is. And it's nice to see. Somebody once told me, she goes, I had no idea the diversity of this group because everybody's at different education level, backgrounds, and all of that. And it's really nice. And it's that common bond beyond Parkinson's, which I really like. And we have a guys' lunch. I obviously don't attend the guys' lunch, but one of the guys was telling me that what's really nice about that group is getting together and then sharing not only their their personal life, what they were before Parkinson's and what they are during Parkinson's, but also sharing what's normal in their life with their Parkinson's. It's kind of like if I'm the only one that has, say, allergies, which in Reading we have a lot of allergies. If I'm the only one that has allergies, that's pretty overwhelming. But if I find out that there's a ton of people, it's like, okay, they're dealing with it too. I'm okay, they're okay type things. So
Yeah,
there's that. So
I like the way you frame that because that idea, whether it's allergies or Parkinson's, anything we're going through, if we feel like we're the only one, that lends toward the isolation aspect. That can lend toward shame or guilt or frustration or anything, thinking, gosh, why me? And in fact, the human condition, as it turns out, is littered with all sorts of maladies and challenges. That's just part of being alive. And it doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it, oh, just get over it. No. But also, like you said, going through it with other people, that helps.
yeah. And I think sometimes, especially at an age with Parkinson's, one of the guys that went to the guys' lunch who doesn't have Parkinson's, his wife does. And
Mm.
he said, we're all talking about it. And finally, I looked at them and said, I don't have Parkinson's, but what you're talking about relates to me. So what's Parkinson's? What's age related? We're not 20 years old. We're not going to start running. Me running is just a scary thing. Somebody's got to be dying or something. But, we change and we have to change and adapt with what our capabilities are. I took care of my brother-in-law who had pancreatic cancer. I'm a nurse. And he said, I can't do this, but I can still do that.
There it is.
And that's the attitude with going out and being normal in the community. I don't tell the restaurants it's a Parkinson's group. And,
Right.
there's no need to, and it's not obvious.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't want to come to support groups because they're afraid of what they're going to see,
Yeah.
that preconceived notion type thing going on. And you probably see that too.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And what I was going to add to it, I really like you said as well, was that idea of I can't do this, but I can do that. Quick story. Golf has been, big deal for my dad and off the charts for the last 2.5 or so years since just swinging. He's just too unstable. My sister just happens to stumble across this product called the Paragolfer. Have you heard about this?
No, but tell.
So, I mean, not only is this thing about 15 years old, which shocked me, it's now progressed into another product called the Verticat. So it's even better. But basically, it's a motorized chair that is built for the golf course that a person can put themselves into and then hydraulically, just by the little joystick, can lift themselves into a golf swing position and swing a golf club. And it is approved on these clubs courses to not only be for a driving range, but actually go onto the greens. You can play a full round everywhere up to the sand traps. And right, I mean, that's the kind of thing about why it's important to communicate. By the way, take a look at my daily dose because what I got to interview the guy who invented this thing.
Oh, wow.
He's a veteran. He is also a paraplegic, lost limbs during his service. And that's where he began his work developing this and now has expanded across that. And, he said he's worked with some people with Parkinson's, but I said, I'm going to get your work out there to a lot more people with Parkinson's because people need to know it's exactly what we're talking about to help feel normal again, that there is more to you. You're not a person with Parkinson's who is affected by this. It's like, no, you're someone who wants to golf. Here's something that can help you do it. And that's just a beautiful thing.
And one of my guys came to group one time, great big tall guy. And I said, well, what frustrates you? What are you missing? And he said, I love to hike and I can't hike anymore. And I said, well, why not? And he said, well, I just lost my balance. So I said, you need to get into physical therapy. You need to get those walking sticks. He's hiking. Yeah. So it's an attitude thing of, I'm not going to let this thing beat me any more than anything else is going to beat me up. So I kind of like that.
And attitude, information, and you were kind enough to both ask the question and listen. And that's the best that support groups and community have to offer. But like you say, you know what? You know where those conversations I bet happen? At a dinner where everyone's just hanging out. So
very social group. We always have to leave about a half hour for social time. Otherwise, it's like nailing Jello to a tree. So, it's kind of, hello, people.
With Jello to a tree, we end this dose. Kim, thanks for the time. Let's make sure we keep checking in with each other. By the way, look up that Paragolfer thing. You got golf people in your community. Let them know. I'm happy to send information and connect to him. And as I told you, my Field of Dreams program is coming up. So any baseball people, make sure they know about that.
Yes, I forwarded that to my group already. Bless you. So really enjoy this. It's nice to get connections and resources because if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you won't know. So
well, let's keep doing it, Kim. I appreciate your time.
Okay, take care, Robert. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.